Hi guys, my name is Wesley Tigere and welcome to my very first YouTube video. As for those who don't know me, I'm a junior Delphi programmer and today we're gonna be coding the quadratic formula using Delphi. So let's start. So here's how the code, here's the quadratic formula. As for those who don't know, or you might know the quadratic formula, it goes as x, let me change it, it says x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared plus 4 times ac, all of this divided by 2a. Right, so that's our quadratic formula. And so what we're gonna be doing with this quadratic formula is that we're gonna break it using Delphi. So we're gonna have this as a factor and these as a factor and these as a factor, and also this plus or minus. We're gonna have two of them. We're gonna be doing both of them as we're just gonna be using the plus only. And if you want to do more, you can add the minus if you can, and if you want to experience more. So here we're gonna say a b c, let me just change this font. So it's gonna be a, b and c. So we're gonna be using only 3 codes right here. We're gonna be using only 3 numbers right here. So over here, our a, I'm gonna make our a become 6, our b become 5, and our c is gonna be 4, and therefore our x should be displayed as 0,5. So this is what we should get as our x, right? So here's we're gonna have to break this. So let me just cancel this. And then so here's our quadratic formula, right? Let me just move all these red stuff right here, and then it's gonna be plus or minus and all of this divided by, right? So we're gonna start by making this, making b to change into minus b, right? As we know that we're gonna input maybe a positive number, and then we're gonna convert this positive number into a negative number. So this is how we're gonna make the code, and this is how we're gonna make our interface, right? So we're gonna start by opening a new file, right? A new program, a project. Like we're gonna start by making a new project, and then let me just increase this, and then we're gonna have 3 labels. As we can see from here, we're gonna have our a, our b, and our c. So our a and our c and our b, they're gonna all have labels, and then the speed edit. Right, so here we're gonna add the label, right? I'm gonna just add it right here, and then the spin edit. I'm using the spin edit because the spin edit, it's like simpler, because we know that it's where we input numbers right here. We input numbers in the spin edit, and also the reason why we're very cautious with the interface is because the interface is what the user sees only. This is what the user just sees, and so we have to make it look very presentable so that the user doesn't even just feels like your program is just nothing, or it has nothing to do with them. It has to be user friendly. So over here, this button is too big, and just make it small. Right, so over here, then I'm just gonna make the rich edit. So our rich edit is where we're gonna have, like, we can edit multiple of numbers right here in the rich edit. That's why I'm using the rich edit instead of the edit box, because we can add a lot of numbers, right? So let me just save that, and then I forgot to save. One thing which we should know about Delphi is that you have to about, let's say, in coding in general, is that you have to always save, right? So when you save your program, you're just making it you're just using it so that you don't forget where you've put it, or how you've where you want to correct, and then all that stuff. So over here I'm just gonna make it quad underscore u, since it's a unit file, and then over here I'm just gonna make quad underscore p, so as a project file. Right, so let me just edit this. So over here I'm gonna make this one the first number, so it's gonna be our first number, and then on the label it's gonna be LBL. This is the naming convention of the label, and you have to be very cautious with these naming conventions, because like if you're in my age, let's say if you're doing grade 10 and like or to grade 12, they're always cautious about these naming conventions and why you should name them and all of that stuff. So, and then this one's I'm just gonna make it first. Over here I forgot, yeah, first, and then this one is gonna be our LBL second, and then right here I'm just gonna go right here, and then I'm gonna make it second number, and this one I'm just gonna name it third number. Oh yeah, I forgot to name those things in third number, and then this one's gonna be a LBL third, and then here it's gonna be said, because it's the naming convention, said second, said third, and then right here I'm just gonna call this one BTN, calculate. Right, then I go right here, and then I'm just gonna cancel this, which edit is red display. And I'm just gonna remove the lines here. Right, so we're done with the interface, and let me just run and let me show you how it's gonna look to the user. So this is what the user is gonna see. We haven't input anything right here, it's just plain. You see, nothing is gonna happen, nothing is happening. You see, nothing is happening. Right, now we're gonna go to the code. So now when we're going to the code, since we know that this is supposed to be our quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is supposed to be minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared plus 4ac, all of this divided by 2a. So now let me just cancel this, and then what I want to do is that I want to just convert these numbers into minus b. So I want to make b, and then I convert it to minus b. Right, so this is what is supposed to happen. Now let's go into the code. So here I'm just gonna declare variables right here, and then when I'm declaring variables, I'm just gonna make I first, and then I second, and then I second, I third, and then here I'm just gonna make integers. Alright, so these are all of these ones right here, all of these that you can see right here, they are gonna be integers. And then here I'm just gonna make r first, and then r second, and then it's gonna be r calc. It's because it's gonna be calculating, and then I'm gonna assign it to real numbers. Alright, so I'm done with that. Now let's go into the code. So now what I want to do is that I want to break these codes, so that's why I'm using these comments. That's why I put those two lines and then those two strokes to show that it's commenting. So now I want to comment that they should be inputs. The reason why I put these numbers here is that I just want to make my program, it can be long, but it should be understandable to both me and the person who's going to be marking, right? So I'm just gonna make this one I first, because I want to break it. So don't forget, I want to break it into smaller pieces. It's like you're eating a big burger, and like you don't eat it at once. You just break it into smaller pieces so that you can be able to digest it nicely. And then this one's gonna be our I second, third, dot value, I third, I'm gonna assign it to third dot value. So right here now is that this one is gonna be our B. Right, I first is gonna be our B, and this one is gonna be our A, and this one is gonna be our C. Right, so now let's go into the processes. So here is gonna be the process or the procedure, whatever you want to name it. So when it's the process or the procedure. So what I want this to do is that R first, which is equal to. So what I want R first to do is that it should say I first, right? I first times -1. This is what it should do, so that it can produce this minus. This is what should happen. So then after doing that, you always have to remember that there should be an output. Where should it go? Because so the computer will be asking, so where should I display it? Because it doesn't know. You have to think like a computer when you're programming most of the times. You have to think like a computer. Then dot add. This one is gonna be, so over here, since it's read or rich edit strings, so I'm gonna convert it to float to string, right? So when I convert it to float to string, it's gonna be displaying that float as a string, right? So over here, then it's gonna be our first, and then right, let's run. Let's see if it works. Oh yeah, I forgot something right here. Before I run, I forgot something. Over here, I just want to make them comments because we're not yet using them yet. So now this should work. So here's what we're supposed to do right here. So let me just say 5. Bam. Now you see, it showed us that it should change it to -5. Alright, so let me just add, let's say -5, and let's see how does it work. Change to 5. So it works. Wow, we're grateful. It works. Now we're gonna go to another part. So right here, after doing this, And now, as you can see that we're done with all of this. Let me just erase all of this, and then right. So we're done with all of this, and then what we want to do right here is that we have to say plus, right? Sorry about that. So me, I just wanna use plus. So you should say that this plus, and then the square root of b squared. Right. So this is what we want to go. So well, let me just write it down here. So it should say minus. We're done with minus right here. We're done minus plus the square root of b squared. But before we use the square root, I just want to use b squared first before I go to the square root. So now let's go. So since it's still the first part, this is what should happen. So I'm just gonna say r second, right? So I'm gonna assign r second into I first, right? So over here, what I want to do is that I want to square r first, and then I terminate. And then what I want after squaring is that it should say, what it should do after squaring is that it should say rcalc, and then assignment operator, it should say r first plus r second. And then I'm just gonna make a slightly change right here. Just gonna make a little change right here, and then I'm just gonna make it iCalc. Right. So this is what's supposed to happen. So over here, let me just add 5. Bam. So let's check and see. It should say minus 5 plus b squared, which will be 25. And then when it subtracts, it gives you 20. Wow. So now we're done with that. So as you can see, it is giving us results. Wow. So now we're gonna go to the next part. So the next part is gonna be squaring u. Alright, so let's go, and then let me just terminate this. And the next part, now we can see our next part. So after doing that, let me just save, so that nothing, like, let me just save. And then over here, I want to square this. I want to find the square root. So I found the square root. Now let's run the program and let's see if it's gonna give us the square root. And then it's gonna be 5. And then let's first remember what's 5 over here. Let me just go back here. So it's gonna be 5 minus 5 plus 5, which should give us 0. This is what I'm supposed to get, 0, right? So let's see if that will work. Oh, it has given us a 0. Yeah, now I'm very happy now. Now I'm very excited. It has given us a 0. So now we're gonna go to the next part. So here's our next part. We're gonna say now here's our code is gonna be minus b plus the square root of b squared, right? So after finding the square root of b squared, it should say plus 4ac. So this means that it's 4 times a times c. So this is what it's supposed to do. So now right here we're gonna say that since we found the square root, it should find the square root of everything. So right here I'm just gonna put a plus. That's gonna be 4 times our a. So I'm just gonna add u. Just gonna remove you from there, I'm just gonna say I second times I third. Right, so let's run and see if it works. So what I'm saying is that it should be 5 here now, and then over here it's gonna be 6, and over here it's gonna be 4. So let's see what should happen. It should say -5 plus the square root of 5 squared plus 4 times 6 times 4. Right, so here if we solve it, it's gonna be -5 plus, if we square this one, it's gonna be 25, it's gonna be 5, and then over here what do we get? 4 times this one is gonna be 24. 24 plus times 4, which would give us 96. So it's gonna be let's say 25 plus 96, or to the power half, or let me just not do 2 to the power half, and let me just say square root of 25, right? And then it should solve for that. Yeah, it should solve for that. So now let's see. It's 6. It's 6. So 25 plus this one. Let's see. Let me just check. Let's verify. 25 plus this one is gonna be 6 plus 5. 6 plus 5, it's gonna give us 11. Carry 1, and then 2 there. 2 plus 9 is gonna be 11, 12. Right. So 121 plus -5. So over here it's 11. So 11 plus this one, it gives us 6. Wow, so it's correct. It's actually correct. Right? So after solving for that, this is what it's supposed to do. It should say all of that divided by 2. So don't forget the quadratic formula over here. Where's the quadratic formula? So here's our quadratic formula. You shouldn't forget that. There's a quadratic formula. It's gonna be b squared and divided by 2a. So what I want you to do now, we have to divide by 2. Since we found all of that, we should divide by 2. So right here, I'm just gonna go on R calculate, and I'm gonna say divided by 2 times I second. And I'm just gonna put that in brackets to show that it's gonna divide by one thing, since you know the BODMAS is what it's supposed to have. So it's gonna be 5 here, 6, and then here it's gonna be 4. It has given us the answer. So here is the quadratic formula. Hey guys, and if you want to see more about me, just go to my YouTube channel, and just go to the channel, hit the subscription button, and like this video. And if you have got more questions, just ask. I can help out. I'll really assist you, and like, so here's our formula, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you.